Hey guys, welcome to fossilbluff.com. I'd like to tell you what we're working on today. We're going to try to make a decent copy of this gavel that belonged to Sam Houston when he was in the East. So stay tuned and we'll get it done. All right, we're back. So this is what we got planned. We've got, like I showed you before, this picture of the gavel that Sam Houston used. We've got kind of a barrel style head shape here. Got some rings around the top. Let me see if you can take a look at that. It might be a little blurry, but close enough. And we've got some nice details here. We've got some little protrusions that stick out, a nice little bulb at the end. So overall, a pretty nice looking gavel, and I think I'll be able to get it done. Now, because I don't know the materials that were used, I went ahead, got some hard maple. It has a little bit of chatoyance to it, not much. It's a really nice piece of wood, solid, no checks. Really good. And then for the handle, we've got a piece that I already turned around of some Texas Ebony. And I'd like to try to keep this as non-stained as possible so that when it's done, it just is what it is. Once I get a good, some true oil or some tung oil on this, it'll look really nice. So let's start by giving it an old cut. We got to cut the this piece of maple down with this saw that I got, and I haven't used this at all yet. I got it for Father's Day. It is the TAKERU-BOY saw by Silky, and what's cool about it is, and I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but it folds open like this. Check this out. Boom. So it's got rip and cross-cut teeth on it. You can see, and the blade is replaceable. It comes off right here, and when you're done, it's really, when you're done using it, it's really good for easy storage. Watch out, don't hurt the camera. And it folds right back up and tucks away. Now, I'm going to try to cut this piece of maple with this. It may be too much to bite off. That is a big piece of maple. This is, what, maybe 3.5, 4 inches, square. So we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get the camera set up for the big show, and we'll be right back. All right, so to get started, one of the things that we need to consider are the proportions of everything. So what I've got is this really great set of Fibonacci gauge, Fibonacci, what do they call this specifically? Yeah, it's a Fibonacci gauge. Uses the golden ratio, and really helps me to get my measurements correct when I'm making gavels. One of the things to consider is that when we have a gavel, the proportions of this are, this is a very long gavel, which means there's a lot of swing for that head to hit. And this looks very, very thin to me, this portion right here. So I typically like to take the height of the gavel head and make the whole length of the gavel 3 times the height of the head. That's what I consider. I like it to have a really nice proportion. So I need to do some measuring to get this done. And what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to use this. I've got my trusty carpenter pencil. I got my square just around the on the shelf over here, and we're going to do a little bit of measuring. Very good. Okay, so that literally took just a minute to get done. So what I did is I measured this handle out, this piece of Texas Ebony, and I've got some marks on it. Let me see if I can find them. There we go. You can see right there we've got some graphite there. So this is waste on the end. Actually, these are both waste on this end. On this end, we've got some waste here, and this is all going to be in the head and tail stock of the lathe, right? So we need to be able to work the piece and get the tools close enough to the head and tail without actually, dinging up the bit of the tools. And then we've got a measurement right here, which is the tang that's going to go into the head, and that's about 1.5 inches. Now, I went with 1.5 inches because it's half the depth of the head of this, right? So I've got this measured out, and I'm going to show you right here. We've got some waste on this side. This is going to go in the head of the tail stock. We've got the main head of the gavel, which this happens to be 3 inches, and then some more waste here. We're going to cut this off, go through it on the lathe, and make it round, and we'll get going. So without further ado, let's get to ripping. All right, I'm not going to lie, that was a little bit of elbow grease. This is some really hard wood. This is also my first time using this saw by Silky. it cut really straight. I'm very impressed with it. Like it cut really straight. You can see I got a little bit off track right there when I switched hands. That's when I actually switched hands cutting. Isn't that interesting? But it's a very smooth cut. I couldn't even tell you which side I cut it on, which is interesting given that happened right there. But it went right through it. A lot of elbow grease. Cuts really well. Definitely use the cross cut, not the rip saw side. Just figured I'd give that a test. But overall, very impressed. Very impressed. That was a lot more work than I thought it would be. The time lapse sort of shows, the process that I had to go through. One of the things I wasn't prepared for was the incredible mess that this black wood makes. Look at, I'm stained. My hands are just stained with the sawdust. On the upside, it is a beautiful piece of wood. It's hard. It feels, ready to. It just feels really good. It's a nice piece of wood. It's really nice. So anyway, we got the sort of the trademark shapes in here. We've got this kind of bulb at the end. This one here, this little palm swell, which fits really nice. What's nice is your thumb kind of sits right on this, so you can kind of index it really easily, and you know exactly when you pick it up how you want to hold it. Goes down to this 1, 2, and then I measured this at 3/4 of an inch, I think, and that's the size of the hole that I'm going to drill into the head when I mount this in there. All right, that was quite an experience. Here is the gavel head. We've got these nice little 3 ridges in here. I'm going to sand these down with the palm sander so they've got a slight convex surface to them. It helps when you're when you're sounding the gavel to have it be a little more have a little bit better contact instead of trying to hit a whole flat area and then you end up hitting just a portion of the face. You want to try and get a nice good contact. So I have to saw these off right here, and then give them a nice convex surface with the palm sander, and then we've got the handle, which I will again also cut right here. Cut this off. I'm going to hit a palm sander on that to give it a nice good round end, and then drill it, and it'll sit right inside there. Look at that. That's going to look so good. Boom. Okay, we're in the home stretch. Almost there. All right, we're in the final stages. We've got the handle sanded. We've got the top cut off, and I went ahead and put a screw in here. Took the top off the screw. We've got this drilled. You saw me drill that a moment ago. We've got it so that it's got a nice convex surface on both sides. Took the edges down so that if you do catch it, you don't end up with a big ding or sort of a mushroom out because of the way the fibers would sort of expand as it compressed a little bit. So took some of that off. The handle here, honestly, I don't even know if this needs any finish on it. It is such a hard wood and feels so good in the hand. I just don't even know. The maple, I feel I could use something only because I know it would still pick up some oils and some things like that, and I wouldn't want it to do that. But when popped a hole in there, I will be putting some glue on this as well. But I wanted to glue and screw it here. It does get on there. Good. Look at that. So that's my interpretation of a close enough replica of Sam Houston's gavel that he used. Feels good in the hand, solid. Room for improvement, absolutely. Technique improvement, absolutely. I need to do more work. I need to make more things. But overall, it looks good. The proportion is fantastic. Look at that. The height of the head is just like in perfect harmony with everything. It looks great. And this contrast of color, very reminiscent of what you would see with some of the gavels that have like a white stone head and then an acacia handle. So you may have seen these these tones together before. But I think it's gorgeous. Look at this thing. Boom. All right, on to finishing, and then we'll have some final, glamour shots when we're done. Okay.